And hopefully my caffeine will kick in here in a couple of minutes.
Yeah, I just got the biggest tub of coffee to go.
Yep. Okay. We are live. Welcome everybody to the March Stitch and Bitch live show, where we're going to talk about what we are making and anything else that comes to mind, because why not? We'll start with our usual introductions. I'll go first because we're on my channel and y'all probably know who I am, but I'm Rachel. My channel is Colonnati, and I talk about books all the time, though on a more reasonable schedule now. So that's it for me. Rhea, you want to go next?
Sure. So I'm Rhea. I'm from the channel The Bookfinch. It is currently springtime in Finland. We're getting finally some good sunny weather, almost enough that I don't have to wear a winter coat anymore. And I also talk about books, and I talk about comics. Next month I will be talking more about comics and manga especially, because I'm participating in a challenge. So yeah.
Or are you doing the manga everyday challenge?
Yes.
Like what Maya did?
Yes, I'm doing the 30 manga in 30 days.
Oh god.
Yes.
That would be super fun, but how do you get so much manga?
First of all, I'm one of those people who goes to the store and is like, I'll buy this. Then I put it on the shelf. And there it is. There it sits. So I have a bunch of stuff that I haven't read, and also my library system, it has a very good selection. So basically,
I'm very jealous. You can't even find manga in the bookstores where I live.
Basically, I don't have to buy anything. I just it's all already either on my shelf that I haven't read, or it's from the library. And generally speaking, nowadays I don't buy manga that much unless I have already read the series from the library.
Sure.
Yeah. Bree, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Bree. My channel is Bree Reads Books. I've been quiet on the internet for a little while now, but I also talk about books and things, and it's fun.
Yeah. Di?
Hi, I'm Diana. My channel is Bookish Di, and I also talk about books, but also sports, particularly women's sports, because March Madness is here. And now I have to go let my cat out because he's being naughty.
Hello, Shannon. Hello, KJ.
Hey, everyone. My gosh, the weather's finally turning nice here, and I'm so excited.
I mean, aren't we almost on the same altitude, longitude,
latitude? Yeah, basically.
What is geography?
Yeah, Minnesota and Finland have similar climate.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been really nice here this past week, which is nice. I think my grandma's planning on grilling today because it's been really, really nice, and we can just chill outside.
That sounds really lovely.
Hang on. Wait, my dog is being naughty.
Naughty pets is the theme of this month.
Naughty pet time. Yeah. Isn't it? Yeah. Isn't it like? Is it Palm Sunday today?
Palm Sunday, yeah.
Palm Sunday,
yeah.
Where you collect your palm to be used next year for Ash Wednesday.
Or as in our case, the witches come to come to.
It's an Ava. Sorry,
it's an Ava.
She's found her chewy stick and is now wandering the house trying to find a place to bury it, which means she's trying to bury it in my bed.
I mean, I had to confiscate this from the cats. It's a stick of matatabi, and they were getting drunk on it. It's basically like catnip on a stick, and they've just been chewing it and acting all weird. So I was just like, okay, no more drugs for you.
You went down?
Yeah, I told everyone on our earlier call that my cat Soren is in kitty jail because he broke into a whole bag of barbecue chips and destroyed the basement. So
I wish I had barbecue chips.
I used
wish
to have
I had
barbecue chips.
I mean, I know I shouldn't eat them because they're bad for me, but also I just want to live.
So what's weird for me is I don't actually like barbecue chips, but I love All Dressed, which has barbecue in it. It's so All Dressed is like a very Canadian like chip
Uh-huh.
flavoring. It's like basically a bunch of different Lay's flavors together, which is why it's All Dressed.
That's funny.
They're
I mean,
good. Like I normally don't like flavorings on my chips, but All Dressed is really good.
I mean, I am terribly boring and vanilla when it comes to chips. I just like the plain ones.
I like sea salt
The
and
plain
vinegar.
ones that are just salt and pepper and potato.
Mm. See, I love sea salt and vinegar. Like those are some of my favorites.
Hmm?
Sorry, actually I gotta let the cat in because he's upset. I think I'm gonna break out the catnip bananas because that's like a very good bribe.
Oh yeah.
KJ asks if we've seen the Goliath's ebook sale. I have
I-
not. What is this? Does it cover SF Masterworks?
That is
Do you know
always
anything
the
about-
question.
I haven't seen it, but also maybe it's good because I don't have any money anyway.
Oh, somebody had a book sale yesterday that was a book, and they walked away with 4 boxes. That sounds
That sounds so good. Basically, all my money currently is in computer parts. And some of them
Oh.
haven't arrived yet. Like my processor that I ordered 2 months ago. And when we went to ask about it, they were like, yeah, we haven't even fulfilled some orders that we have from December. So your January order might take a while. And now that the boat is stuck in Suez Canal, I just imagine that my processor is somewhere in there as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oof, that's rough.
Yeah, I just need a new computer. Like this poor bastard is coughing with every task that requires even a little bit of extra memory and processor power. It's like, "Ah, I can't."
Yeah, global chip shortage. Absolutely.
Yep. I mean,
Yeah.
this is why I didn't like, because, well, the whole Bitcoin mining thing has caused graphics cards, like GPU prices to
Yeah.
like skyrocket, and now you can't even get them because all the Bitcoin miners are buying them out. So
My,
by the truckload basically. So I didn't even get a new GPU. I had to like scavenge my partner's one of his old ones that he doesn't need. I mean, it's good that we have that problem over here, but at the same time, I would have wanted a new GPU.
Yeah.
Fair. My partner needs to rebuild parts of his gaming computer, and he has definitely been complaining about the price hikes because of the chip shortage
Yeah.
and how it's
Yeah,
impossible.
I've been trying to get my hands on a PlayStation 5, and the chip shortage is making it so that there's a shortage of PlayStation 5s, and it's a knife fight because scalpers will snag it.
Yeah.
Also, expect it to get even worse because the vast majority of all the chipsets are being built in China.
Yeah.
And currently, European Union and the United States, at the very least, are giving tariffs to China because of the whole Uyghur thing,
Yep.
which is good, but also sucks from the commerce side of things because now it's like expected that the electronic parts will get even more expensive. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. We happened to get a PS5 because we got one of the like random like PlayStation emails that was like, "Do you want to pre-order one?" Because they put my partner in like a lottery for it, and so we've had one since it came out, which has been
I
Lucky.
I don't want one, and I want one at the same time. But only because of Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. I
Yeah.
just want to play Forbidden West.
Rhea,
Well, that was, I think, going to be released on PS4, but I really want it because my PS4 is like I bought it 5 years ago, but I bought it refurbished.
oh yeah,
So it's on the older side and it is very slow.
yep.
And so
I
yeah,
need you both. I need you both to be able to play Bug Snacks, which is.
I mean, I feel like now I have to play it just because you've been talking about it so much that it's like. I mean,
I get like a weird little like it gives me giggles every time I think about when I was playing it. I can't play a lot of the PS5 games because anything with like a motion camera where the camera changes gets me motion sickness.
yeah.
So I had to play it in like an hour and a half bursts, and then I'd be like, I need to go do something else, or I'm gonna throw up. But it was a joy.
Yeah, I mean, I started playing Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and basically all my time has been sucked into that game ever since. I haven't even done any like I have done one Divine Beast, and other than that I've just been like hunting Koroks.
I have a lot of games that I need to play, but like I've mostly been playing the not so great Avengers game because it doesn't require a lot of like higher thought. And I can listen to audiobooks while playing it because it's just like fight the bad guys, do the objectives.
Did anybody watch Falcon and Winter Soldier?
I have.
No. I haven't even watched WandaVision yet.
I don't even understand what the premise of the new show is. So I'm super behind on the Marvel Universe.
It's mostly Falcon and Winter Soldier both being very sad that Captain is gone. And what do we do now that Captain is gone? At least so far. Also, eco-terrorism, kind of?
Yeah.
Maybe?
Also, they literally gave us one of the, like, you know, that whole, like, meme, like, that's bait? There was a scene in the most recent episode that was, like, the perfect encapsulation of that, where, like, I literally was like, oh my god, it's a now kiss moment.
Yes, right? I kept saying that. My partner was like, can you be quiet? I'm trying to listen. I was like, but they need to kiss. Why aren't they kissing right now?
I watch it in the morning before work, so like, and it's just me who watches it. And my grandfather will like occasionally wander in and like ask questions. Like he was doing that during WandaVision, and it's like, I'm not sure the best way to explain what all is happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, Luke is stoned. Leia is currently not. Leia's just like, catnip banana for me, and it's like, there are two of them, honey. One of them's for you.
Yeah, Wally is hanging out. She is sleeping in what used to be a puddle of sun and is now no longer a puddle of sun, but is apparently comfortable enough to keep her where she's at.
Yeah.
Yeah, I might try taking Leia out into the backyard today because she keeps like trying to like sneak out into the garage, and so I have harness and leashes for them, so I'll probably do that. Luke, I might do that, but he's also like a very high-strung, delicate boy, so I don't know how he would react.
Soren loves his harness. If I go, I hang it on the coat rack, and if I go to the coat rack, he thinks I'm going for his harness and like runs over with his little waddle. Which he also gives me like this look of betrayal every time I'm going for my coat instead of his harness. Like, oh, sweetie, you don't want to go outside in the snow.
I mean,
maybe he does.
He's a big baby. He's a big baby. He thinks he's real tough.
Tesla does this thing like earlier when we were making coffee. He does this thing that when you put the coffee machine on and it starts doing the preparing noises, he will run from wherever he is in the apartment because he knows that where there is a coffee machine, there is frothing milk. So he needs to have the milk, and he starts like meowing like an opera singer. Like it's this very high pitched yowl, and he will like try to climb your leg and be like, "Give me, give me."
I made scrambled eggs for breakfast this morning, and the moment that she heard from across the house that I was cracking eggshells, Wally came running into the kitchen, and I didn't notice her until my partner was like, "Why is the cat just watching you?" And I was like, "Oh, it's because she wants an egg."
Oh, hold on. I need to break up a cat fight. I'll be back.
My dog does that too, but it's with water packed tofu. I'm not
Why?
kidding.
Why?
She recognizes it, and so she just comes in the kitchen. She just stares at me like, "You're gonna give me some of that, right?" I'm like, "Why do you like tofu so much?"
Yeah, that's your dog is weird,
Tell me about it.
but also your dog is super cute. So
This is true. What's everyone been up
A
to?
lot because they're very cute.
Yeah, do we want to talk about what we're working on before we start getting sidetracked into everything else?
Okay.
So yeah, Bree, you want to go first? Show us what you're working on.
Sure. I have let's see if I can find the picture of it. I have the knotted front tee, which looks like this.
Ooh.
I'm doing it in this like not quite teal sea green from Hedgehog Fibers. So that's what I've been working on. And I'm now on waist shaping. You start from the bottom up, do like a fancy twisty thing, and then go up from there. So I'm through the hard part.
Cool. Diana?
Sure. So I finished. Yeah, this is the right side. I finished the body for the sweater. So I need to start the arms, but I'm waiting, I think, until tonight when I can like focus and not be doing something else.
That color is beautiful.
Thanks. So I've been working on my book blanket. I have not touched it in months.
So what year is the book blanket for?
2020. Yeah, I'm going back because I was at a conference yesterday for work and I needed to do something with my hands that didn't require like a lot of thought. So I'm like, well, I have all my book blanket stuff. Might as well do that.
Rhea?
oh.
Surprise you.
So I'm not currently doing anything. Like I'm drawing.
Ooh.
This is
Oh, nice.
like I'm trying to figure out anatomy for fingers, and it is not going well because hands are
difficult, right?
incredibly fiddly to draw.
Yeah.
Especially if you want like two hands doing a thing together.
Yeah, that's a
And
lot
then you
of...
have to like figure out which way the thumbs and everything, and I'm like, my brain is not equipped for this.
Yeah.
Rachel, what are you working on?
I
If you
am
tell me
trying-
it's the Wellerman shawl, I'm going to lose my mind.
No, I was looking at it this morning though.
I just picked up yarn for the Wellerman shawl, and I was like, I saw that it looked like you had some cable work in there, and I was like, is that it?
Well, I'm gonna
Did
try
Rachel
to
beat me to it?
actually hold this up and see if I can.
Oh,
There
that's
we go.
real pretty.
that's beautiful.
Okay, there we
Oh,
go.
that's so nice.
So yeah, this is a cardigan. This is my Talervo cardigan. And it's almost done. I'm having to do Kitchener stitch on the buttonholes, and then I have to whip stitch the folded button band, and then it will be done.
That's so pretty.
I am waiting for like I'm waiting for a paycheck to come in so that I can order linen from the fabric like there's this thing called like fabric outlet or like a place where you can buy like in bulk.
Yeah.
And because I want to make that Elizabethan shift that Morgan Dunner just recently did like a
My mom
tutorial.
and I are just flipping out about that video.
Yeah, and I already designed this idea how I can because I want to make two, one that's like basically a copy of the one she makes in the video, and the other one with like sleeves that have those like puffs, and then a band, and then another puff,
Mhm.
and like yeah. So I need to do that, but I need linen, and I don't want to go to the local fabric store because their selection is super poor and super expensive because they have a monopoly on everything.
Mhm.
So
Here in the US, I just got linen from fabricstore.com, which I had never heard about until one of like the costume people mentioned it. And wow, it's like actually affordable imported linen. I was very happy. I'm actually wearing my pants. I finished my pants yesterday. So
Good work.
you see red linen pants.
that's great. I just basically all I want to do is like hip length versions of the Elizabethan shift to wear with my skirts. That's like
Yeah.
and my Lolita dresses. That's basically everything now.
I
Just
love
Elizabethan
the
shifts.
color on it is
Yes.
so awesome.
And you could also like basically do any sort of color you want. I also want to make those vesties that Nicole Rudolph made.
She makes the most amazing stuff.
Yes,
I'm like,
she
how are you
does.
this talented? How do you know how to do everything, including shoes?
Yeah, how can you do millinery? How can you do shoes? How can you like how dare you?
The
Leave some for the rest of us, please.
At some point, she's gonna come out and be like, "Oh yeah, I knit all my own sweaters." Dude, I'm like,
I mean, I also like when I see people who are like multi-talented that way, it makes me feel sad, but also like, so that's where all my talent went. It's like on that person. I don't have to worry about it anymore.
My big issue with sewing has been that my sewing machine, the bobbin has been jammed. So every time I turn it on and I try to sew a seam, even like the most plain Jane straight seam, it has been like knotting up in just the gnarliest fashion. So I have to take it in on Friday to get fixed. Because what is life without a sewing machine?
I want a new sewing machine. I say this as a person who literally has like 3 sewing machines for different things, but my basic sewing machine is like going kaput, so I need a new one. Because I have different machines for specific.
I currently don't have a sewing machine, but I would kind of want one. What the hell did I just do?
Before we get sidetracked, even as a little child, that one scene in Lion King where Scar says that I must have been in the shallow end of the gene pool was so relatable to me. Even as a little child, that line was like, I feel seen. I feel seen.
Do I need to break out Ira's negative self-talk rule on this stream?
Yes, always.
Yeah.
It's not even a negative self-talk. It's just like when you are born with a congenital like disease, and you are constantly wondering like why you're different from everyone and why you can't do certain things. It's nice to like, even if I didn't as a kid I didn't understand that line actually was negative self-talk, but it's like when you find certain things in media that even though they probably are harmful, as a kid you're like, yeah, I can, like, I see myself in that, which is like how it was for me mostly.
Yeah, sorry, I'm struggling with trying to fold this thing.
I'm still struggling with anatomy.
Maybe I shouldn't be doing this on a live show because I have no idea what I'm doing here.
I'm just gonna forever appreciate you trying.
I don't know.
What is this finger doing?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
The finger has escaped.
It's like I don't know what's happening, but like does it look like they're holding hands even like remotely, or is it just
Yeah.
like a couple of sausages like stuck together?
It looks
Yeah.
like people holding hands to me.
Ah,
What is everyone reading? Because I need a new pick. I'm just about done with what is it? The Once and Future Witches by not Alex Harrow.
Alexi
Yeah,
Harrow.
Alex Harrow. And so I am looking for my next read, other than A Desolation Called Peace, because of course that's my next one.
I still haven't gotten to it.
You should listen to it with me. That's my next listen.
I mean, honestly, lately I have just been reading the dialogue options in Legend of Zelda, but like,
Hey, it counts.
it's a reading, all right.
Oh, yay! Shannon says that she and Sush finished A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. It's one of the best, funniest stories I read last year. Is so good. I want everybody to read it.
I'm technically still reading this one.
Okay.
I'm still only like this month. I have 2 days to finish it because this is part of a challenge that if I don't finish this, I need to unhaul I need to unhaul some book from my collection, and I'm like, but it's like Marina and Sergei Dyachenko's books are so weird because like I like them, but it's also like they're so nihilistic and like grim that you need to be in a very certain type of headspace. And especially in this one because the main character is freaking awful. Like he is a piece of shit.
Oh no!
So it's like it's like for context, I don't think this is a major spoiler, but he basically he like the part where I stopped, he had just like put a child to a child that he's like is living with him for like because of circumstances, but he put the child to sit in the corridor while he was having sex with some random woman he brought home from a bar.
No!
Okay.
And I'm
Well-
like, wow, you really are not a role model, are you?
Please tell me that something else about the story makes up for that, because
I mean,
wanted to read it.
the magical elements and the creepy elements are super cool, and I also think that the child character is fun, and the way that their banter and the way that the way that the child character acts, I don't actually think that she really is a child, but she at least looks like a child, and she presents to the world like a child, and she's like constantly taking the piss out of this man, and it's
I would probably
it's
enjoy it.
delicious. It's delicious, but at the same time, I'm just like I can't with this guy. I can't because he's so awful.
I am so excited for when the Hugo nominations are released so I can know what I should put on my list from last year. Because I felt like my brain space was such jello that I didn't pay any attention or like know remotely. Like I filled out not even half my ballot. So
Yeah.
I'm just like
What?
Yeah.
I don't want spoilers, Becca, but
I want to know now.
yeah, okay.
Rachel, download it
to
and let's
read.
listen.
I want to read A Desolation Called Peace so bad.
I still need
also
to
I-
remember
But
all
also
them.
I need my brain to be in a certain I want to savor it and I want to love it, so I need my
your brain
I
to be
need
in the
to
right
be in a
space.
correct space, and I feel like I haven't been in that mindset.
I did finish Black Sun since our last
How
show.
did you like it? Wasn't it amazing? Oh my god, that ending!
The ending, and also reading it with the Four Lost Cities right before was a fantastic combination.
I loved that book. I also like it. It was so fun because I was I was picking up certain details, and when we were buddy reading it with Rachel, Rachel was like, "Oh, I didn't even see that."
Yeah, I am currently reading Thorn by Intisar Kanani, and it's a book that Jin Jenny from Reading the End like loves so much, and I'm enjoying it, but it's also like a little slow to start.
Yeah.
But I did read Winterkeep, and it was fantastic. It was so good.
So
I
good.
still like, even though the telepathic foxes are a little creepy, I still want one.
I mean, why wouldn't you want a telepathic fox?
Right?
Well, spoilers. I can't
Yeah,
tell
don't-
you why not.
I mean,
Nobody
I
tell
haven't
anything because
read
they haven't
any
read
of
it
those
yet.
books yet. I haven't read Graceling either.
Yeah, I read it and I really loved it, and I think it worked for me where some continuations of series don't, because the Graceling novels have always been like, there's been like a through line in terms of themes, and like some characters will reappear, but it's never been about like one main character through all the books. And I also think the ending of Bitter Blue left it really open for there to be more in that world.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, guys, if you hear barking in the background, everybody's outside all of a sudden.
Yeah, there's a lot of small planes flying around me right now, which is kind of annoying.
It's probably everyone's going, the weather is beautiful, we must go outside and enjoy it. And I'm like, yeah, but please don't scream outside my window.
The ever popular handball court across from my house is packed again today because it's been nice. The moment the snow started melting, a bunch of old men came out with their snow shovels and cleared it off and started playing. So it has been, I hear the like bop of balls against that wall all day long.
I mean, over here, I basically, so we live down on this like little hillock, and if you walk a certain like a hill downwards, there's this little public. It's like a citizens park basically. That's like a communal park, and there's like a frisbee golf thing and all these things. And now that the field and the park are no longer covered in snow, suddenly it's filled with teenagers every night, and you can hear their cries of joy and drunken delirium wafting over the like. Also, weirdly, now that all the shopping malls have been closed or are not open as much because of the whole pandemonium, the parking lots to like your regular grocery stores are suddenly filled with like teenagers just hanging around and drinking booze.
They can do that?
Cool.
I mean, they are not legally allowed to drink unless they're like 18, but they do it anyway. It's like Finland has a real problem with like underage drinking. It's just they ask someone to buy cheap beer for them, and someone does, and then they get drunk.
That happens here too, but they like really crack down on the selling alcohol to minors things. So,
well, or at the very least, not having the minors drinking in public.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it were not terribly dissimilar rates of underage drinking. It were just.
Also, what I understand, at least from like all the movies, is that you have like house parties and stuff.
I know that those are things that happened in high school for some people. it was not a thing that I was ever anywhere remotely.
Yeah.
Or is
Yeah.
this another thing that's just a fantasy? Like me, like it's like I have like 3 things that I have, or 4 things that I have chucked up to be like completely fantastical, and then when I heard that it's actually real, I was like, whoa, what? 1 is like house parties. 2 is boarding schools, and by extension, school uniforms, which were like super magical to me for some reason because we don't have that. And the final thing is people wearing shoes inside.
Oh, that's not a thing. You don't wear shoes inside in the Midwest. That's
Well,
not.
you do here.
not-
In my part of the Midwest.
Yeah, I
It's
was
like more of
watching
a-
Gilmore Girls,
It's
and
more of a
Rory.
thing in the West, like places where you don't get a lot of snow, because
Yeah.
like in the Northeast, you, especially in the winter, you take off your shoes before you go inside. Sometimes in the winter, like I remember, like in the summer, people would not take off their shoes, but like here with my grandparents, they're almost always wearing shoes inside the house.
Yeah.
I didn't encounter the no shoes inside the house thing until I went to the South because they have got red clay dirt.
Oh,
And
sure.
I was at my aunt's house and she had white carpets and she was like, "We never bring our shoes
Why
inside."
would you? Like I
It's-
have now, because of like my feet have started getting colder. I have now gotten to the habit of wearing house slippers, whereas usually I was wearing just woolen socks. Now I just wear woolen socks and house slippers. But like,
Yeah.
We have like a separate, like, okay, in our current flat we don't have a separate like entry room
Mhm.
because space. But we still have this entryway, and all the shoes are left there. But in our like we call them like wind closets. Basically, when you come inside a
Yeah.
house, you have
Mud
like a separate room
Yep.
that's
In-
that's like a little like lower. You usually have a stair or 2, and then you get inside the house. You leave all your shoes and stuff.
We
Yeah,
call
that's
them
a
mudrooms here.
Yeah, mudroom.
Yeah, I like wind
we-
closet better.
Yeah,
It sounds more epic.
Yeah, like my aunt and uncle in Canada have like a separate, like a pretty decent sized mud room in their house where like you take off all your shoes and jackets and stuff.
I would love one because the amount of dirt that just gets into my house is absurd. In fairness, it's 90% my fault because I am very inclined to go outside without shoes and just like wander for 45 minutes in my backyard and come back in not thinking anything of it. So, I don't know if it would actually help, but I'm jealous of them.
But I mean, I remember when me and my mom, we used to have this tradition when we like I feel like it's like that sort of thing between like moms and their kids after divorce is like in a certain like early 2000s era is that you watched Gilmore Girls, and then it was a super relatable experience. But anyway,
My assumption too, yeah.
yeah, so me and my mom watched Gilmore Girls together, and I remember when we first saw Rory walk in to her room and sit on her bed with shoes
With her
on.
shoes on?
Me and my mom were both like, "What is this blasphemy? How dare!"
Oh my god, kind of riffing on the Gilmore Girls thing. I watched Golden Girls for the first time ever last week.
Did you love
Did
it?
you know that until I watched the first 2 episodes, I had no idea that Golden Girls was supposed to be a comedy?
I love you so much. I can't stand how much I love you.
It's really freaking hilarious. So I'm going to end up watching all of Golden Girls on YouTube now. So
I mean,
That's amazing.
I am so culturally illiterate.
I mean, I have
Ramsey's
to.
got it right. Golden Girls slaps.
Yes.
I
yeah,
have
now I'm
to,
beginning
like-
understand why people love Betty White so much too. Like this is what people know Betty White for. Like, oh, I get it now. She's Rose.
Yeah, Betty White is like, she's so weird.
I don't know
Also,
what
it's
deal she
amazing
made with
how
the
old
devil,
she is.
but
She's 99.
I
Yeah.
know.
looks better than Prince Philip.
My favorite is when she I think it was her 95th birthday that she put out an article herself that said it said Betty White dies quietly in her home. And it was about her dyeing her hair. So like the internet freaked out and it was her dyeing her hair.
I mean, I just like, I don't know if you've seen that, like on a complete tangent, like speaking of 99-year-olds, but if you've seen that picture of Prince Philip floating around where he's being carried home.
Like,
yeah.
Oh, like, here's the thing. I would not be surprised if they were pulling a Weekend at Bernie's with Prince Philip.
I was going to say.
I would
like,
not be shocked if it turns out he died a while ago and they had like preserved his body or like made like a replica of it somehow. Like I would not
I
be
was
shocked.
like talking to my partner because I have to share this joke because I just like I'm stupid. I thought it was hilarious, but like I was talking to my partner like, oh my god, this poor man, like they need to let him just pass on. And then my partner was like, no, you don't understand. Like once you create a lich that powerful, you need to like keep them going. I was just like laughing too hard. I was like, that's not even a good joke, but I still laughed so much. Now I just like imagine the whole royal family being like necromancers and having like liches doing their bit.
I mean, would you be remotely surprised?
I mean, I wouldn't.
Speaking of the royal family, it was 110% William who asked how dark Archie would be, based solely on the fact that they keep doing the he totally has black friends routine with him.
Oh, for sure. Also, I think that it was Prince William who paid himself to be put on the sexiest bald man list. I mean, what the hell? They didn't even like
company
Patrick Stewart is right there.
So there was a thread breaking down like how it came to be. And so it came out from initially in the Sun, like in a print version, but they didn't like put it on, like advertise it on social media. And also a hair implant company sponsored it.
Wow.
I hope it has backfired on them somewhat because nobody believes that Prince William is the sexiest bald guy.
I mean, what at this point, if Prince Andrew hanging out with Epstein doesn't backfire on the royal family, what does backfire? Like it's like everyone's like, just another Tuesday. Meanwhile, the rest of us are like, what?
I keep hoping that one day Canada will be like, you know what? We don't really need the Commonwealth, eh? And they probably never will, because...
Is Australia still part of the Commonwealth?
Yes, but they're saying, like, you know what? There's like a movement again, I think, to become a full republic and not a Commonwealth.
I mean, what benefits do they have? Like getting to see a glimpse of the royal family every couple of years when they deign to visit the country with like taxpayer money. I don't know. Oh my God! Worlds in Ink said one place posted article: thousands of bald men have apparently died.
Was it The Onion?
Probably.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So wait, Rachel, you haven't said what you're reading.
Oh yeah, Gaslit.
Because the answer is you're downloading a Desolation called Peace and you're reading it with me this week.
Yeah, I have a print copy, so I need to get to it. I was gonna reread a memory called Empire, but I'm like, I don't want to wait, so I will just plan on rereading the whole duology someday. But yeah. I'm currently reading Deep Light by Frances Harding. I haven't read anything by her since The Lie Tree years ago, and like she's such a beautiful writer. I'm reading this going, ugh, I need to read everything.
She's one of my favorites.
Yeah. So I'm reading that, and my audiobook right now is a really interesting book. It's The Disordered Cosmos by Chanda Prescott Weinstein.
Oh, how is
And
that?
it is really good. It's basically like a mashup of a popular science nonfiction book on physics, a lot of like the fundamental concepts of physics, but also kind of a memoir. I wouldn't literally call it a memoir, but Prescott Weinstein is one of the, I think of only about 100 Black women in the world who has a PhD in physics. And so it's very much her talking about how she sees her discipline, you know, and some of the things that she's come across. So it's not just the sexism, but also the racism within science and everything. But it's been a really good, and it's fantastic on audiobook. So it's like I get a lot of comfort out of just listening to books on physics for some reason. Physics, cosmology, quantum physics and stuff. So it's
None
like
of that surprises anyone.
yeah, it's like all the comfort of that stuff. Like, yeah, we're gonna talk about black holes now. We're talking about string theory now. But then she will just like break down, like, you know, it is maybe a little bit uncomfortable for some people that it's called dark matter instead of more accurately invisible matter. I'm like, this is a good point. So it's really good. I hope more people read it.
I requested
If I
it from the
understood
library.
physics.
I'm hoping that they'll buy it because I heard you talking about it and I really want to read it.
I still want to read the one you read previously. Was it Darwin Genetics or something? Hacking the Genetics.
Oh, Hacking Darwin?
Yeah, I want
Yeah.
to read that, which is also on Scribd. So
That one was really interesting because it was almost more like a policy making take on genetics and CRISPR and stuff. So, yeah.
Yeah.
I have gotten to a point where the general pose is almost done.
Woo!
Yeah.
We've been watching all of the Oscar nominees slowly. And
Oh, were they announced?
yes.
I missed
Oscars already? I haven't paid attention.
I mean, because it's the Oscars and who pays attention?
It is a regional film festival. That was like the best dig at the Oscars.
I mean, I have like the only thing that I've recently paid attention to that has any kind of cultural significance is the Eurovision contest. We picked the worst possible song to go in the Eurovision contest. It was like, and I don't get it. Everyone was like, "Oh my God, this is the favorite," and like as expected, the favorite one. And I went and listened to the song, and I'm like, "Oh, I guess we don't want to win."
Ramsey, No Man Land was great. We watched it last night, and I'm not through processing it. The other one that I really liked was oh shoot.
Minari?
No.
Sound of Metal?
Sound of Metal was really good.
I kind of want to see that one. I really, what's his name? Riz Ahmed? He's the... Yeah, I like him a lot. And so I kind of wanted to see it for him.
I want to make sure I have a sound bar to watch it because apparently there's some like really good stuff with the sound design.
Yeah, and so for some context, I grew up going to school, like a school specifically for disabled children. So a lot of my friends growing up were deaf. And I think it was really interesting that they actually had a conversation about deaf culture, because a lot of times when you see like deaf communities portrayed in media, it is always with an eye towards fixing the deafness.
Mm-hmm.
And as we were sitting there, like, it was really, really interesting to see. Also, they do a really cool thing. So I'm pretty fluent in sign. But if you're not, they don't translate a lot of the sign as the main character learns it. So you get the translations as he learns sign, which I thought was really interesting.
That's yeah. I really
That's
need to watch
that's
that
a
now.
really interesting like storytelling choice, I think.
Yeah, I think Sound of Metal is on Amazon right now.
Yeah, it's on Amazon.
I need to know if it's out on DVD yet because I currently don't have Amazon Prime or Netflix. Every time I pause my subscriptions, there are a million things that I suddenly want to watch, and the library doesn't have it.
Yeah.
Shannon, that is, I can't highlight it. 'Cause I
Sound
don't-
of Metal.
Yeah, Sound of Metal.
So, what has everybody else been watching and stuff?
I've been watching Nadia Bake. That's like I ration it out show because like I don't want to like splurge and like suddenly be without it. But it's Nadia Hussein's new Netflix show, and it's very comforting. I love watching her talk about food and like talk about baking, and it's just she gets so excited about it, and it makes me so happy.
That sounds lovely.
And I am still slowly making my way through season 1 of The Next Generation because it is not good. Like I just finished the episode where Tasha Yar dies, and it's just like Denise
It's a
Crosby
lot.
are so much better.
We've been rewatching Arrested Development. We started a couple weeks ago, and then of course everything with Jessica Walters happened. So
I started watching Demon Slayer or Kimetsu no Yaiba, and it's been okay. Like, I love that because it's been animated by an anime studio that's most famous for doing all of the cutscenes for Namco Bandai's Tales of JRPG series, and they're like really famous for like this amazing big budget like hand-drawn animation. And I can't say if I'm enjoying the plot, but that whole series is just so freaking beautiful to look at that I'm just watching every scene like it's just like it has these bold lines, bold colors, like it takes place in the late 1800s in Japan, and it has like demons and like a whole subset of a militarized like sort of militia that's in charge of like hunting down demons and trying to stop them from killing humans. And it has like elemental magic and stuff, and it's great. And
I think my partner watched Dragon's Dogma, I think is the one that I was thinking of. And the characters in it move so stiffly. I walked in and I was like, why does this guy have no motion in his shoulders?
do I even want to Google what that? Okay,
It's like based off the video game, I think.
I mean, there was a recent controversy in Japan because there is this manga called X Arms, and also I think it's a light novel series, and then it got an anime adaptation that was so bad, so universally panned, that they cancelled the manga. They cancelled the manga because its adaptation was so bad. So now the publisher is like, no, we don't want anything to do with this. And like,
Jeez.
no, that's like next level.
Wow.
Yeah, this does not look very good.
He watches a bunch of stuff after I fall asleep that like he knows that I won't be interested in. And every once in a while I'll wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, and I like come back to bed and I look and I'm like, What are
Brie-
you watching?
Brie, you please, someone needs to. I don't care if you even like it, but someone needs to watch Jujutsu no Kaisen so that I can just gush about it. Someone, because like I just need
Have-
someone to talk to me about it.
Have we talked about the fact that they're doing a live action Cowboy Bebop and how much that hurts my soul?
Yeah, I don't want it.
No
I
one
don't
wanted
want
it. No one wanted it.
But John Cho.
No, I mean, yes,
No.
John Cho. I love John Cho. Also, I didn't want it, and
I don't want it. I sincerely don't want it. I mean, why like why is there this assumption in Western media that everything needs to be adapted to be palatable to Western audiences? Just put subtitles on it and bring it over, and like animation is perfectly fine as an art form by itself. It doesn't need a live action reboot or live action version. Like Cowboy Bebop is perfectly fit as a science fiction classic and an adult series without being made for like like please.
Speaking, Bree, you're muted.
fun.
I was just going to say, speaking of poorly thought out adaptations, apparently Ron D. Moore is going to be adapting A Court of Thorn and Roses. And I'm like, first of all, we don't need that. Second of all, Ron D. Moore, please choose better projects.
My partner turned to me and he was like, "Have you heard of this?" And then we spent like 45 minutes in bed last night with me being like, "No. Why are they doing this?" And explaining the entirety of the plot as he like reads the wiki page out to me. He's like, "What is this?" And I'm like, "It's bad."
Yeah, I'm just like, buddy, like, dude, what are you doing? What are you doing? Like, maybe it's because like he had a lot of success with Outlander and it's like going strong. I don't know, but like,
I also want to be like, this is something that the CW would do.
yes.
Right? Like, and that is where if we're gonna do it on the CW.
I mean,
Also,
I
don't
just
do
saw,
it.
I just saw people in Twitter who are like Sarah J. Maas fans being like, "No, I don't want this." Also, Tesla, your paws smell like sweat.
In brighter news, if you do like Cowboy Bebop and you are looking for something that's like a fun 2-hour live action something, Space Sweepers.
Space Sweepers.
This weekend. Yeah, very fun.
Space Sweepers is my 2021 Hugo nomination pick for long form next year.
It was fun,
Because
and also the moment when, and Ray will know what I'm talking about, when the truckers, the space truckers, take on the man. Very fun.
Also, the robot character is my favorite.
Very
like
good.
he is like, I love it.
I wish I had something interesting to contribute, but the only thing I've seen recently at all is Tenet. And
Oh, I want to see that. I haven't seen
Did
it
you
yet.
like it?
How bonkers was it?
So I'm somebody I've always enjoyed Christopher Nolan's movies a lot. I mean, like Inception, I rewatched Inception so many times. I thought that was really cool. I've never found his movies to be as confusing or as complicated as any other people do. But then I watched Tenet and I was like, I think Christopher Nolan has an exaggerated sense of how good he actually is at making twisty, complicated movies. It made no sense. I was halfway through watching it and was like, this what? Why do I care? I had to go like find a really in-depth spoilery review that like broke down everything that was happening so that I would actually understand the movie. And I was like, it's literally a movie that you cannot understand unless you watch it twice. But if you don't care after the first time you watch it because it's so confusing, you're never gonna rewatch it.
Yeah.
So it was really splashy and pretty, and there are a lot of like CGI and interesting effects and stuff. And and the whole, like, he keeps adding like abused women and their children as the emotional through line of the story, and I'm like, maybe you could just write women better.
Ah,
Why
I
would
mean,
we do that when we can abuse women as a way to show character development?
I mean,
Why?
to be fair, I have only heard of Tenet because of Columbo, who does fan art. He does very wholesome fan art of Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme as like a modern alternative version where everyone is happy. And Anakin and Padme are raising Luke and Leia, and Obi-Wan is the cool uncle, basically. Like he does.
So
like,
if
cool
the
fan
Jedi
art.
got to have emotionally healthy relationships,
Yes,
Yeah.
basically. So I
Jedi
follow
believed in
him.
therapy and had qualified mental health professionals and were able to acknowledge that Anakin had some severe trauma and that they're
Damn.
make reasonable accommodations, and
Yes.
that maybe they shouldn't be. You can tell I have a lot of feelings about the fact that the Jedi desperately needed some mental health professionals, and
I mean,
and
they literally took a child from the mother and were like, oh, like, why wouldn't they have just gotten Shmi as well? Like,
Well, and I think also, like, one thing I don't know that gets particularly talked about is like Anakin's like specific trauma regarding slavery, and that's something that you see more in the Clone Wars animated series. And again, you can tell I have a lot of thoughts about this.
Thank you.
Like, that's for me, like, the big tragedy of the prequels is that Anakin had this great capacity for doing good, but just like the missteps of those around him, as well as his tendency to make the worst possible choice every single time, which compounded it.
Without actually taking the time to examine that, right? Like that in and of itself could be a totally fine story if you took the time to examine why these things are happening.
Mhm.
Sorry, I have similar pet peeves about this. Or the prequel.
Well, I mean, I actually do like truly love the prequels, and I think that in terms of like documenting, like the reason Anakin's story works so well with me compared to what happens with Kylo is that like Anakin's story is unequivocally presented as a tragedy and as a tragedy of his own making. Like it's not like other people have a role to play in it, but it is very much his choices and how he acts that causes everything to go wrong. Whereas Kylo, I thought how it was presented in TFA was really good because like we've seen in real life what happens where you can have quote unquote good parents and a good upbringing, but you can still be radicalized. And I thought that could have been some really smart commentary about like how even someone who's the son of the heroes of the rebellion could become radicalized. But instead, Rian Johnson was like, oh no, we need to woobify him. We need to make him sad. We need to undo all the fact that Rey has legitimate reason to hate him and create a romantic plot tumor that then carries over. And
I mean,
The Last Jedi is a
the
terrible
romantic plot tumor predated Rian Johnson. He just gave into it.
I mean,
No, I don't think TFA like really did it. Like TFA like was pretty vague about what happened, and the reading that I got was that he had become radicalized and that his parents weren't quite sure how.
Oh yeah, no, that part I'm totally on board with. I absolutely agree. I'm saying that the existence of the like Reylo
I know,
subplot exists before Rian Johnson.
But I think TFA was like very much setting up Rey and Finn as the two leads, and Rian Johnson cannot see a white man that he doesn't want to center. And decided, oh no, Finn is going to be the comic relief, and Kylo is going to be the second lead.
Yeah, I have.
But as I I will let you go on with the Star Wars thing. But my thing with Columbo, the artist, is that was the only way I have learned about Tenet, is that he made gay fan art of the main characters.
I can see that. The one thing
yeah.
I genuinely liked about Tenet was Robert Pattinson. And I was like, how have I never seen Robert Pattinson in anything other than Twilight? He's actually a good actor, and I really enjoyed his character in the movie.
Have you seen him in The Lighthouse?
I haven't seen him in anything except for Twilight.
You might like
and-
him in The Lighthouse.
Okay.
Wasn't he also in that one movie like Water for Elephants?
Yes.
Yeah. Because that's my hard part with Robert Pattinson is that in my head he will always be sparkly Edward Cullen. Just because like I was in high school when those started being a thing. And they were such a thing. And I feel bad every time I'm like, you are actually a decent actor. And I just can't get myself past this.
Yeah.
And yes, Shannon, he was Cedric Diggory. So he was
Oh
there
my
for
God,
like,
how
Oh
are
yeah, I
you
forgot that.
okay? How can you smell this bad?
I don't know. Soren came up to me the other day and like laid down next to me and I got just full on cat food breath. And I was like, dude, you have not eaten in like 6 hours. What's wrong with your mouth?
Yeah, I got that with Luke yawned yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, I need to like start training you to let me brush your teeth. Your breath is so bad, my bud."
Oh my God! Like he has like
God.
literal sweaty paws. Like I don't understand.
Pause.
Like why are you like this?
Yeah, Robert Pattinson and the new Batman, the upcoming Batman will be interesting. I'm really interested to see if they lean in more towards the detective Batman as opposed to punch all the things Batman.
Pattinson
I'm
is
hoping
Batman.
Or the Playboy Batman.
I like that they acknowledge the fact that Batman is definitely wearing eyeliner, which none of the other like live action Batmans have acknowledged.
Yes, agreed.
I missed this news. Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
it's been. They announced it quite a while ago that Robert.
Yeah,
Pattinson
in
is
the
gonna
in
be
the
Batman.
teaser trailer, he takes off his cowl and he has like smudged eyeliner on his like, and it actually looks pretty good. It looks
Yeah.
decent.
Oh,
I mean,
like that.
I'll be real. I often like smudged eyeliner on men is kind of a look I dig.
Yes,
But
it's not a look I dig on me, but it is a look that I dig on rock stars, regardless of gender.
yeah,
Um,
we've been rewatching.
Oh,
Even
I
I
mean,
know what that
I mean,
means.
Nipple Batman is
have
one
you
thing,
watched,
but the credit
Gabby
card.
Baker Whitelaw's video about the Batman. Gabby Baker Whitelaw did this really great video on Batman costumes for her series Behind the Scenes, and she was like the nipple Batman came up specifically in regards to like Joel Schumacher really embracing gay camp in his movies and like making his movies like as campy as possible. So like in terms of like the costume design, like that was really funny.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I personally enjoyed the Joel Schumacher Riddler design. Like Tim Burton's Batmans are fun in a way. Like, well, are Tim Burton movies ever fun? They're kind of,
Yeah.
but they have that certain aesthetic. Whereas I feel like Joel Schumacher really like put a, like, well, what if sort of kind of like Tim Burton, but also make it neon?
We've been rewatching all of the Nolan Batman movies because we were watching Justice League. Yes, the 4-hour ungodly long cut.
I'm
I haven't
not
seen the
even gonna
original
touch that.
theatrical release. I've only seen now the Snyder release. But-
I cannot touch
Why?
that
That's my question. Why?
because
Zach was
Joss
like, we
Whedon
need
is
to
an
wa-
asshole.
The point I was going to make is that I love the portrayal of Scarecrow because that's freaking phenomenal. But yes, no, it's a long 4 hours. I've been told it is actually like story-wise better than the theatrical release. But it was very much a Zach being like, I'm going to watch this. And I was like, well, I'm just sitting here knitting, so I guess I'll pay some attention.
I mean, to be fair, I feel like Ramsey Hassan is saying Schumacher vexing the fanboys with the queerness was amazing. I mean, nothing can top the Adam West Batman. Like, that is high camp. And it
They have
also,
not tried
also
a
my
high camp.
childhood.
They haven't tried a high camp Batman in a long time, and
Well,
I think-
in the animated series,
Yeah,
here
I was
they
gonna-
have.
I was gonna say Batman Brave and the Bold is like pretty campy.
Yeah, it has whole musical episodes and everything.
Yeah, it has, in my opinion, one of the greatest animated musical numbers written by Gail Simone. That is basically Huntress, Catwoman, and Black Canary singing about the sexual failures of most of the male superheroes, and then being like, "But Batman." Like, I highly recommend you look up Birds of like that song, because it is truly one of the greatest moments in animated television.
I mean,
That's
that
funny.
whole show actually, I was actually gonna bring that up because I personally really dig that show.
I do think that it's part of why I liked Birds of Prey as much as I did. Even though I am very much not a Harley Quinn fan, was because it actually felt like there was like comic book energy to it.
Yeah.
Like, I was expecting
Also-
blangs every time she hit someone, kind of thing.
Also, can we talk about the stupid decision that someone at DC decided to make? So we have this movie called Suicide Squad. How about we make the sequel The Suicide Squad?
I think it's supposed to be a soft reboot, though.
Yeah, the problem is that I don't like James Gunn. I find him like really misogynistic in a way, like not as blatant as some people, but like I really hate a lot of the humor in his movies, like particularly like Drax's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna call Gamora a whore because I'm literal," and it's like, that's not really it, bud.
Rachel, can you stand up so that we can actually see this in its full existing glory?
Yeah, that is so gorgeous. I love it.
Oh my
Oh,
god, that's so
shut
pretty.
up. That's so cute.
That is so
I
satisfying.
love the cable work on it.
Oh, it looks so beautiful.
I finally cracked the code on how to cable without a cable needle, which makes
Is it
everything-
use a bobby pin? Because that's what.
Nope, no other tools necessary. And once you figure out how to do it, it makes everything so much faster. You're not moving things around or whatever, not juggling an extra cable needle or whatever. But yay! So now I gotta go get some buttons from my mom, and then it will actually be done.
Oh, it looks so good.
I'm very happy. It actually fits.
But Rachel, Batman Brave and the Bold is on HBO Max if you want to watch it. Because, like, I think if you like campy Batman, you'll really like this. It's just so much fun.
Maybe. I've watched the only Batman I've ever watched are the Christopher Nolan movies.
Oh yeah.
I liked them at the time. I saw them all in theaters.
The first two are okay, but I have to say that the third one, not my
I was
personal
disappointed
favorite.
by the third one, and I've never rewatched it. I just listened to the soundtrack by Hans Zimmer for like 2 years straight.
I will always be incredibly sad anytime that Cyborg appears, by the way, without Beast Boy. Just mostly because I'm a big Beast Boy fan.
I love Beast Boy. That's the other thing. I need to rewatch Teen Titans because that show was so good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, the dogs are just going crazy here.
They're living.
If
They're
you can
living
hear
their
the- if you can
lives.
hear the dog, that is 2 houses away.
Wow. I mean,
Speaking of DC superhero movies, Helen Mirren is going to be the villain in the Shazam sequel.
there was a
very excited.
Shazam movie.
Yeah.
Huh.
With Zachary Levi. But yeah, I deeply love Helen Mirren, and I love it when she can like be in like action movies and just like have a blast.
I liked Helen Mirren in what's the movie? Red?
Yeah.
Retired Something and Dangerous.
Ooh.
It has like John Malkovich, Bruce Willis, Helen Mirren, and they're all like old and badass.
Yeah. And then I'm also looking forward to Black Adam. The
Yeah.
one with Rock. And like I was looking forward to it, but then they announced Aldous Hodge as Hawkman, and I was like, yes, I will watch. I am like so excited because I love Aldous Hodge so much, and he's just such a charismatic actor. And I'm sorry you can hear Luke scratching. He decided that he had enough, and I need to go let him out again soon.
Oh.
But yeah, Aldous Hodge is great, and I'm super excited to see him in a comic movie.
Also, did you see that Dev Patel's Green Knight finally got a release date?
I'm so excited for Green Knight.
It's coming this summer.
I'm so
Like
excited.
finally,
for Green
it's
Knight.
finally happening.
I really
It's
want
finally
to.
happening.
And the woman who plays Enfys Nest in Solo is in Green Knight, which I didn't know until we were looking her up because we saw her in a different thing. And I was like, what? Because I loved her as
Yeah.
Enfys Nest.
Disney really needs to give us an Enfys Nest TV series.
Yes, I want it so bad.
So the thing is with Solo is that it's not a great, like, I found like Han to be the least interesting character, but like everyone else around him was so much more interesting. Like Enfys Nest was super interesting. Lando, obviously.
Yeah.
Give Lando his own thing, please.
And then I thought Kira was also really interesting, and I would totally want it. Like, I don't know if they would do it, but like it'd be so cool if she like rolled up in the Boba Fett movie as like this middle-aged or like this older woman who's still a crime boss.
Yeah. I could be super into that.
Also,
Like,
this
because
is
like Darth Maul goes from the head of Crimson Dawn to what we see in Rebels, and so like at some point, my guess is she found a way to remove him.
Right.
on
So.
a completely separate tangent. Like our local stores are now giving hand sanitizer as a complimentary service if you purchase stuff. So that's a very 2021 thing that wasn't on my bingo board last year.
I'm not sure that I don't know if we would see anything like that around here. I don't know.
There were some liquor distilleries that were doing that, where they had converted some of their operations to hand sanitizer. And like, if you bought like some booze from them, the one I saw was like in DC. It was like, if you bought like 2 bottles of like gin, they would give you free hand sanitizer that they had made.
I know that a bunch of distilleries around here converted in, but I think the ones that did sold it.
Okay.
Yeah, there was one near here that did that, and they sold it.
I don't know if I want to ask if anyone. I know that Dai saw this. I don't know if anyone else saw this, or if we even want to like talk about it or address it. But the whole Lindsay Ellis situation. Did anyone else see that?
I caught a little bit of it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't feel like we really need to talk about it. Like, she has a history of saying racist shit, and she opened her mouth at a time when a lot of people were justifiably feeling very raw and like consequence culture.
I mean,
Yeah.
the thing that I like, because it's from what I saw, it started like with people like having genuine like people were actively trying to help her out by saying like, okay, here is the thing that you did and this is why it was bad. And now it has gotten to the point where people who normally would hate on her are actually defending her, which is like kind of like,
well, the
weird.
thing is, like, she did not really apologize when people were pointing out the fact, like, what she had said. And then she was like, if you squint, which you saw, Rhea.
Yeah, I saw that.
Which was like, that was sure a word choice. And then
It was dismissive.
it
at
was
the
really
very
dismissive.
least.
And then she was like, "Yeah, crazies" at one point. And it's like she just
Yeah,
had, she
it
just
was the
had,
doubling down that
yeah, she
that
was
really
doubling
like
down in a way. Like, had she said like, "You're right, this was like lazy of like intellectually lazy," or like, "Yeah, I could like I understand why what I said was not great," like
especially
I
at this
even her
time.
doing like quote unquote I'm taking some time and I'm listening and learning, like that.
Yeah, but I don't actually like personally. I don't want to talk about her specifically. Just this like trend where people are calling it canceling when people yeet themselves out of social media. Like no one like I don't even know how to say it. Like if like I understand that because she has like a huge following and people who have a large following, it feels daunting when you are getting barraged by a number of people, because those people who are replying to you, they don't necessarily see each other's messages, so you are getting inundated with this stuff. But at the same time, when you have like that many followers, I think it would behoove people to like actually hire someone to manage your social media presence, especially if you have a history of shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. There's just a lot there.
I mean, I have like what 520 or something people follow me on Twitter. So I'm like small fries, but I say that if I ever got to a point where there were like thousands of followers, I would be like, time to get that intern I've always dreamed of.
At the same time, like so much of social media is based on the idea that like it's authentic and it's coming from the person themselves, that
Mhm.
like I understand the resistance to being like, and now somebody else manages my Twitter, because that is
Well,
entirely counter to the selling point of it.
yeah,
But
Well,
true.
I
But
also,
also like if managing your Twitter is like sending someone a rough draft of your tweet and being like, hey, can you read this over and make sure that I'm not saying anything that might be construed in the wrong way. I mean, because she brought up this concept of a throwaway tweet, and that's the whole thing, is that when you have such a huge following, you don't really get the luxury of that anymore.
like I think here's the thing. I think one, that was something that, especially with like the doubling down, it was something that should have been kept to herself. If she had to put it out there into the universe, it should have been said to her pet or to a very trusted group chat. I think she has a chronic inability to accept that she might have said something that offended people. And I think that it's something that we're going to be seeing, like, it is something we're seeing more of. But I also think, like, I don't know, I like get a private Twitter, like have the Twitter equivalent of a Finsta. Like
Yeah.
a friend.
Also, I think that personally,
well, I think
like-
the disappointing thing is when you see it from somebody who's like known for a critical analysis and like doing the intellectual dive and has that kind of a reputation, because that kind of a person should be able to recognize the ramifications of what they say.
Mhm.
But also, I think that the whole what this kind of open, which has been talked about previously, is that Lindsay Ellis hasn't like and other prominent YouTubers too. Like they maybe don't have the intersectionality to talk about certain issues, and they don't even see from like can't see from that point of view, which is like like this was basically like white feminism 101. And to be honest, I don't actually like the whole like what interested me in the whole discourse was it was not even conflating the two franchises together, but it was conflating the whole literary genre or demographic of YA fantasy into one thing. So much so that prominent authors were picking up on the thread and answering it and being like, hey, this is kind of like I saw Tasha Suri, Aliette de Bodard, Ashley Poston, like people were like being like, hey, this is not it. Like, can you, like, especially because as a demographic and as a genre, YA fantasy gets shat on constantly in general. And
well, I think the other thing too is like when you look at different genres, YA fantasy is one of the genres right now that seems to be having a lot more women of color writing within it and doing their own thing. And so I think there was that frustration as well, where you have this genre or this area where you do have a lot of change happening, a lot of people doing different things. And it was like, girl, you literally just wrote Transformers fan fiction and got it published. Like, please just calm down.
I mean, also this idea that like, because YA fantasy in its current iteration is like, it's the one big push of publish, like it has so many women writers and also queer writers and a growing number of BIPOC authors. So it's like that's kind of the demographic that has been having a big push for like inclusivity. So it was kind of like a, you know, like a shit move. This is what we call a shit move in the industry.
Yeah. Basically, I don't really feel the need to like discuss it anymore. Like, it was like you were saying, it was white feminism 101. She made a shitty tweet, and instead of apologizing and owning up to the fact that she made a shitty tweet, she doubled down. And when people pointed out that her apology was not an apology, and pointed out that she has like a pretty bad history of being racist, and like particularly with stories by people of color, then yeah, I
mean, I personally don't like, I don't want it to seem that I want to focus on the person. I usually, like, when these things happen, I personally want to use them as stepping boards to talk about issues and how to, you know, what we as readers and consumers of media can do to like navigate this type of where these kinds of situations are happening and these kinds of trends are happening. With like, for example, because I know that me personally, I have probably at some point made the Avatar: The Last Airbender comparison to something. Most likely I have, because like when you grow up in a certain way and you are not exposed to things, or you don't have to think about, because of your privilege and your like surroundings, you don't have to think about certain things. It is easy to stay in that ignorant lane, if that makes sense. So like that, this is a kind of a good moment to like see what the discourse is about and see like, okay, so now I don't make that like mistake, if that makes sense. Am I making any sense?
Yep.
Sure. No, I think it makes sense. Rachel, what are you casting on now? Or what did you cast on?
It's supposed to be a tank top. It's just a ring right now. I don't know. I might end up ripping it out because I have no idea how big it's going to be. It's brioche, so it's like very stretchy. And I'm afraid it's going to come out super big. So it's my plain knitting right now because I'm just knitting in a circle. Well, we've got about 30 minutes left today, so do we want to jump into talking about things that we're looking forward to? New books, other things coming out? I will start off by saying the video I just published a couple of hours before going live today was my anticipated releases for the next 3 months, so I'm not going to repeat myself here. But number 1, Fugitive Telemetry is coming out for all the Murderbot fans. I'm so excited. And A Master of Gin by P.J. Clark, which
Is it a novella?
No, it's a full novel. Or Murderbot or Master of Gin.
yeah, Murderbot is a
Murderbot.
novella.
Master of Gin, I'm really excited about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm.
Both
Oh,
are going to be phenomenal, I'm sure.
I don't have the sequel to Catnet is coming out in April, so it's Chaos on Catnet.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to. I really liked the first Catnet novel. Let's see. Oh, Aetherbound by E.K. Johnston is coming out in May, and I'm really looking forward to that. That one looks really, really good. And Ashley Eckstein is doing the audiobook, so I actually pre-ordered the audiobook because I do like her as a narrator, so I'm really looking forward to
Did
it.
I see that TJ Klune has a YA novel coming out soon?
I think he already has a YA novel out, but I think he has another adult novel coming out soon.
The Conductors by Nicole Glower is coming out. That one I'm interested in, at least.
Yeah.
Also, I've heard good things about The Ones We're Meant to Find by Joan He.
Okay.
She's the one who wrote Descendant of the Crane.
Yes.
Let's see.
I also see that Mackenzie Lee's The Nobleman's Guide to Scandal and Shipwrecks is coming out, and I'm like, I don't want this.
Yeah, because
Go
I
away.
asked Mackenzie Lee to do a good take on the Atlantic slave trade.
Oh.
Oh yeah, it is the younger brother in that family who's going to the Caribbean. So
No.
yeah, based on how she handled race in the first book, I do not have high expectations, and I am not going to read it, but I'm already like mentally bracing for the discourse.
Witches Steeped in Gold by Rhiannon Smart is coming out also.
Oh, that one.
I've heard many great things about it, and I'm kind of interested. The cover looks decadent.
Yeah.
That's like, and I love a decadent book.
Yeah, that one looks good. The new Ara Shah book is coming out in April as well, which I need to catch up.
It's gonna be a quartet, right?
Quintet.
Oh yeah, Shannon says that Unbroken by C.L. Clark and The Chosen and the Beautiful by Nevo. Yes,
I definitely
yes.
bought the Unbroken
Yes.
just for this cover because this cover is
I mean,
amazing.
I don't know what it is, but Tom Arnold and biceps are like
like this was a case where 110% bought the book for the cover.
I mean, I also like when I heard her talk about it in FireCon. C.L. Clark was just so like, you know, that like that dry humor and also like snappy like commentary on things. I was like, I will buy your every word.
The Galaxy and the Ground Within is coming out in the US on April 20th. And that's
I'm holding off buying it just because I want to buy the UK paperback edition so it matches my other ones.
I don't know why they can't get Becky Chambers a new cover design for the US.
The US covers I don't like them.
They're not good, and I don't think they represent the feel of the books.
They
at all.
don't. They
And
don't at all.
They're very
Too many
pulpy.
other series get their book covers completely redesigned halfway through a series, and people will go back and buy the re-released editions. Like,
Which
just
I
do
would
it.
go back and
reminds
buy
me-
them, and I don't do that.
Which reminds me, I might do that now because Head of Zeus just announced they're going to design all of Ken Liu's Dandelion Dynasty books, and they showed all the covers for like the 4 books, and they look amazing, and I need them.
Yeah,
It's like it's like a continuous art spread of like every, like the first cover and the second, like it's like basically it's one art piece that was split into 4 covers, and it's like if you put the books like side by side, it will continuously, like the art will go continue. I need it in my life, but also like I already have the 2 first books in hard, like in like paperback, and one of them is signed. So I'm like,
original covers were really pretty too, though.
yes, they are.
Yeah.
And also, like, it's interesting because, like, normally I don't like that. Like, well, here is a cover with a helmet, and this is an epic fantasy, and I'm usually like, eh. But in like Grace of Kings with the helmet and a little dandelion breaking through from the helmet, it's like so effective. It's so simple and simplistic and like clean, but it also gives you immediately the feel of what the story is going to be about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Question: has anybody? It's already out, but has anybody read "We Shall Sing a Song into the Deep"? I'm seeing it described as Canticle for Leibowitz meets Hunt for Red October, and I'm not sure how I feel about that combination.
That's the new Torn. Is it a novella or a novel?
I think it's a novella, or no, it's a novel.
Who's
I've
it by?
seen it, but I haven't read it.
Yeah, Andrew Kelly Stewart is the author, and I've seen it around a couple times, but I haven't heard anything about it. So I don't know. It just keeps catching my eye because of the cover, I think. But
I will say the cover reminds me a lot of Shauna Maguire's Wayward Children books, and I'm just like, I think it's just like the way the text is laid out. Yeah.
Because from the look of it, the plot isn't at all like it. So
no, but like it really is just the way the text is laid out. Just reminds me of it. I'm trying to think what else I'm looking forward to. April's like kind of a dry month, which is good because I've spent a lot of money on books recently, and I need to like April. I'm really trying to be like low, like either no buy or low buy.
Yeah,
same.
The
sequel to Finna is coming out in April as well, which is Defect by Nino Cipri.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm really excited about that one.
I mean, I wonder if my library gets a copy of that book, then I will probably read it. But I wasn't very impressed with Finna, so. Oof.
I liked it because I've actually been in an IKEA store and I was like, I understand what this is referencing.
Yes, the references was fun, and they like, but I just like I disliked the main character so much that I was like, you are despicable people. I can't.
It's not out until May, but I'm very interested in the News End show.
Same.
Blackwater Sister.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
It's so weird, by the way.
The cover of that book, it keeps catching my eye. I'm like,
but which cover? Have you seen
the US one?
Like the other one with the flowers and stuff? I'm like, this looks like literary fiction. When I see a cover like that, I am expecting a single mother driving someplace remote with her kids in tow and probably having some sort of relapse.
I mean, I'm sure that part of it is that I'm sure like they're trying to market Zencho to a more literary audience, because I can see her being very popular with a more traditionally literary audience. And if you can straddle those 2 lines, like that's a beautiful place to be sales wise.
Yes.
But the other cover with the red lanterns in the background, like
yes, that
very
cover
striking.
is beautiful.
Yeah.
I personally like it's like catnip for me when you have a really nice illustrated cover instead of like basically a Photoshop amalgamation of stock images.
Yeah.
And there's this big trend now of the big floral images for fiction covers. And it's like, why does everything look like it's floral wallpaper?
We should play a game sometime where
Yeah, go on. Go on.
Oh, we should play a game sometime where people send us like versions of book covers and we have to guess what decade they're from. Right? Like especially
Yeah,
like
that
books,
sounds fun.
like books where they've been like had multiple repeats and redesigns.
Also, like
I-
if you crop out the like name and author
Yeah.
and just send the like main one, and then we can like, this is an epic fantasy from 1989.
Yeah.
If it has an
This has to be
illustrated
it.
Jodie Lee cover, it is a fantasy from Da Books. I say
would
that
be
like, with
really
a lot of love
interesting.
for those covers, but like that is a very like specific, like Mercedes Lackey still has that going on with her DAW covers, but like it is a very specific era of DAW book covers.
And
Yes.
whenever I see the covers, I'm like, I know exactly who wrote that book. You know?
Yeah.
But
Also,
Bree,
what's his name? John Jude Palancar, I think, who has done a lot of covers of fantasy novels, especially like Charles DeLint stuff.
mm-mm.
And he has such a distinctive style. I recognize his artwork everywhere, and I'm like, I know exactly what type of fantasy that's going to be.
Or like Chris McGrath, I think it is. He does-
Yeah.
I really enjoy his covers.
I know I'm going to be getting some sort of urban fantasy unless it's his Kenobi cover, and then it is the space western. But the Kenobi cover is like really good. But yeah, like I know it's going to be urban fantasy.
But I just wanted to say, Bree, speaking of wallpaper, did you see From the Mind of Christine McConnell when she did a video of basically
I haven't
repainting and like doing her walls because she found like an antique Victorian wallpaper
I haven't
her
watched it
under her
yet,
dining.
but I like hold all of Christine McConnell's videos. I was going to bring this up earlier when we were talking about other videos we liked. I hold all of her videos back for a little while because like I just love watching her stuff and she releases
Yeah.
so rarely.
But also like I like someday I will have enough disposable income every month that I can subscribe to Christine McConnell's Patreon. Someday.
I hope someday to have the kind of disposable income where I can have like a beautiful old Victorian mansion and just afford to redo it. I will never have that kind of
I will
money.
never have that.
I will never have that kind of money, but I like to fantasize about it.
I mean,
The heating and cooling costs alone.
Alone,
would be
yeah.
terrible.
like I wouldn't necessarily want to live in a Victorian time mansion, but I would want to somehow bring that aesthetic. For example, Abby Cox's and Nicole Rudolph's houses are both very like modern, but they have those knickknacks and stuff.
Yeah, they have really good setups for their
Yeah.
filming. Like every time I see Nicole Rudolph sitting on her couch talking, I'm like, I dig your aesthetic. Where did you
Also,
get your
I
furniture?
might have a slight like a slight platonic crush on Nicole Rudolph.
Me
Like
too. Oh God, me too.
just a slight one, because
Um,
she's just so dapper.
I'm like not quite as enamored as living in a Victorian house because my college, most of our houses are converted Victorian houses.
Sure.
Hmm.
And like some of them have like hey, no, it wasn't Haven, it was Capon. One of the houses has like this really great staircase that was apparently the inspiration for Gone with the Wind.
Ah,
But like I also remember it as like a lot of no AC in the summer, banging
Yeah.
radiators in the winter, which worked when the power
drafty
was out
drafty
because the
windows.
radiators were steam.
Oh, yeah.
Probably you get splinters from the floors.
They actually had they had redone it, but like it kind of took out the romanticism of living in a Victorian era house.
I mean,
Which is fair.
I just personally want a house at some point. At some point in my life, like I have no delusions about ever becoming a homeowner because, but like I would want to live in a house someday because like living in an apartment complex and having to deal with neighbors who live above and below you, and also next to you.
Becca brought up Starland by River Solomon, by the way, which is early May, and yes, also looking
Yes.
forward to that one.
I'm also wanting to.
I
I have a digital arc of that. I should read it.
I am also nervous. I want to read it because River Solomon, but yeah, horror. It's gonna be. Yeah.
Do you need to buddy read it with me, like when we did?
Yes.
Can we
when we
all
did the
buddy read
Twisted
it?
one?
Can we all buddy read it?
Sure.
We should.
I'm in.
I keep thinking we should do some sort of like big group read for our live show.
That would be fun.
Ooh.
Just something we could all talk about.
I mean, we kind of did that a little with Four Lost Cities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was the only one who didn't get to that one.
Did we talk about that last time, or were we?
Well, we
Last
discovered
time
it.
you were
You told us
planning.
about it last time.
Okay. I don't know. It was like a 3.5, but I thought the ending was rushed.
Yeah.
I like wanted more of like, okay, so here are the 4 lost cities, and let's bring it all together and talk about it. And we just got that short epilogue, and I'm like, but why? Like, there was room for more.
It did kind of make it feel a little bit more like a series of essays rather than like a comprehensive whole.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I was definitely expecting more about like extrapolating from the past to the future, especially
Yeah.
because Newitz talks about in the introduction that they set out to write a completely different type of book about the future cities, basically, and then they went on this like tangent, and it did not feel like they were able to really tie it back to their original idea, the point they wanted to make. But despite that, like I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I liked it, and it was kind of interesting. Like, I thought the book brought up and what Newitz discussed was really interesting, particularly the part in Pompeii where they were talking with the archaeologists about why there were no records about the destruction, and there's like this like the silence response to trauma, which like brought me back to Pale Rider, which I'd read last year, which is really good about the 1918 flu epidemic or pandemic, and how there's like a cult, like there's like maybe one book published in the immediate aftermath.
Which is
I mean,
interesting.
it felt
in-
very much like, I don't know, that particular section of the book very much, I think, spoke to how I've been feeling in the wake of what's been going on 2020 and 2021.
But
Yeah.
it's interesting because that whole culture of silence thing, and now I've lately seen like people talk on Twitter and stuff like, once this pandemic is over, like, can we just never mention it again? And can we just like never do any movies about it again and stuff? And I've seen many people do those kinds of takes. So I'm like, is that like partly like psychological? Like, is there some
Yeah,
sort of need to
that
like
was-
distance yourself from
That
it?
was one of the things that Pale. I highly recommend the book. It was probably, I think it's probably one of my favorite like historical overviews of past pandemics that I've read. But one thing that the book talks about in particular is that we glorify things, or like we talk about things like war and military conflict, because a lot of times there's a clear winner, and we can explore that in our psyche. Like, even if like we're on the losing side, we can still explore that and explore the impact.
Yeah.
But with something like
Guy, is it Pale Rider, The Spanish Flu of 1918
Yeah.
by Laura Spinney?
yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
I
in
will
terms of
just add
something
it.
like a pandemic, there is no winning. There
Isn't a
just-
nice plot line behind
Yeah.
it.
there's no glory, there's no victory. It is just death, and so we want to distance ourselves from that. And so that part in the Pompeii section like really spoke to me, and like
Yeah.
I was able to make that connection. But it was also interesting to just some of the stuff that Newitz was talking about and like how we interpret archaeology. Because I like, after I read that, I ended up reading another nonfiction book called We Keep the Dead Close, which is about a murder at Harvard that happened in the 1960s, and the archaeology grad student was murdered. And there was like a long time rumor that she had been having an affair with a professor, and the professor killed her. And like the book itself is not, there's like two books crammed into one, and the dead white girl one part of the book is like not really good. But like there's another book in there that's more of talking about like the culture of archaeology and the culture of academia, and how things like how popular theories arise and how the way academia is reinforces societal systems. And that, to me, like coming from Newitz's work, where they were like very cognizant of talking with different types of archaeologists and making sure they were talking with archaeologists from the cultures, like either that were from the countries that the ruins were in, or in the case of Cahokia, talking with indigenous scholars. I thought that was really interesting that Newitz was making was doing a very good
Conscious
job
effort
of
for-
bringing in different points of view.
Yeah, now I want to read that book.
I would not necessarily recommend we keep The Dead close, again, because it is very much like 2 books crammed into one, and the Dead White Girl one part of the book is just like not super compelling.
Side note for anybody, I think I mentioned this last time, for anybody who is interested in more pandemic stuff, but maybe wants something that's a little bit more short form, that like it doesn't feel like you have to go back to reading more and more about a pandemic because we're in one. The Ask a Mortician video on when the plague came to San Francisco is phenomenal.
Yes.
I need to watch that.
Yeah,
It was
and then
so
you can
good.
follow it up by her video where she reacts to a drag roasting of herself, which is also phenomenal.
I love that she roasted herself by saying that the editing in the drag video was like better than in her own video.
I know. There were some moments in the roast of her, especially with the face and hand motions, where I was like, "Oh, that's on point and exactly how Caitlin Doty moves."
But it's also like it clearly came from a place of like love and appreciation, because
Oh,
that
yeah.
person had clearly like watched
her stuff.
like so many of her videos.
Also, no lie, I want a 3-part series on Victorian cannibal hookers. Like,
Yes, me too.
like, I don't know if that was a thing, but if it is, I want that.
Well, interestingly that you should say, because I read the Route of Ice and Salt by Jose Luis Zarate. Hey, no.
Yeah, attack.
He was like dumpster diving in my paper trash can. No, A. Come here, you fiend.
Oh, it's Tesla. I thought it was Mosfet.
Yeah, he's hungry.
He's hungry and sweaty.
Yes, like an old grandpa. But yeah, like there was an allusion in the Route of Ice and Salt towards these like French murders that happened in the like 18th century, I want to say, where like a boarding house mistress made her lover kill people, and then they ate them, and she had been like eating people for like decades, like secretly.
Oh, that
And I'm
sounds like
like-
exactly what Ask a Mortician like.
Yeah, and I'm like,
could be doing and beyond.
does this really exist? Like is this allusion to like a real thing? I need to find out.
The problem is Victoriana was like such a like batshit time. Like I would not be surprised if it was real.
Exactly.
No, you are not going anywhere because you're going to be naughty.
I have a proposal because I suspect, and I have no actual basis for knowing when they're going to put out the Hugo shortlist. I suspect we'll get the shortlist.
It's being announced on the 13th.
Yeah.
Oh, awesome. Then I want everyone to go around and say one thing that they think is going to be on the shortlist.
Oh,
All right.
hey, no.
I think Black Sun. I'm gonna say two. I think Black Sun and Network Effect are both gonna be nominated for Best Novel.
Okay.
I put money on those, and I'm hoping Sylvia Moreno Garcia's book.
Mexican Gothic.
Yeah, Mexican Gothic. Yeah, I'm hoping that
I'm
one.
thinking
really
The
like
City We
Mexican Gothic.
Became by N.K. Jemisin will surely be on the
Yeah.
shortlist.
I'm expecting a lot of crossover with the Nebula shortlist and the novel category.
No,
specifically.
no, don't bite that.
I would.
Here's what I'm hoping is not on the short list. Docile. If that is on the short list,
Nah,
I think that's too niche.
yeah.
Okay, Tesla is
Oh.
biting my webcam. Like,
Yeah, Alatsue, I would love to see.
Piranesi. Becca says Piranesi, and I'm very curious about this one because I think it was established that it's too long for the novella category. So it would be novel, and I would be very interested to see if it shows up in the best novel category.
I wouldn't
I
be
feel
surprised
like-
if it got a nomination wherever it is that it falls. Because I think it has that lyricism that like everybody seems to love from Susanna Clark.
And she is a past Hugo winner.
Yeah.
also, Elatsoe, I feel like will most definitely be on the Lodestar.
Oh yeah.
I think it will be on the Lodestar. I think Legendborn will also be on the Lodestar.
I'm thinking on the Lodestar, A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. I'm pretty sure is eligible.
I mean,
And I would like to see that.
I nominated Elatsoe and Cemetery Boys for Lodestar.
For best series, what I would love to be there, but I doubt it's going to happen, is the Queen's Thief series by Megan Whalen Turner. Because it is eligible. It is eligible.
It is eligible. This
Oh
is true.
my god! I didn't even think about that. I would have nominated it. I feel so bad now.
Because oh my god, I like want to reread it just because I loved Return of the Thief so much. It was like
I just feel like I'm so bad at series. Like I'm always like, what series can I nominate? And then I look at all the ones that have ended, and they're like, I haven't read any of these. Sorry.
I feel like my nomination list was so small this year that I like.
Mine was too.
I'm genuinely very interested to see what makes a lot of the especially the long list when we get that after.
Short story because I like did not read a lot of short stuff this year.
Yeah.
In 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, for this year, I have subscriptions for both like Fire magazine and the Choreo. So I should probably read some short fiction. But I always like to hoard all the magazines, and then I look at them and I'm like, oh, pretty files in my folders, and then it's so hard to pick them up. I don't know why.
I know that I'm bad for I feel kind of bad for saying this, but I really hope that someone else wins best semi-prozine this year. Not because I don't like Uncanny, but I feel like they just keep winning at this point, and I would really love for.
I admit I'm holding a bit of a grudge against Uncanny for not beginning to recuse themselves from that category.
It's been a lot. Like we all know.
It's not the fact that I don't think they're deserving. They've had so many amazing people working on their team, and I kind of my theory is that they continue accepting their nominations because they want their like assistant editors and stuff to be recognized, which I completely understand. But they're totally blocking that category now, and I'm like, guys, let's give it to Strange Horizons for once.
Or like Faya. Like let's
Faya.
Or Faya, yeah.
Like
and next year, Choreo.
Well, next year too, the Mermaid magazine and the Constelaciones, the Spanish language, like the Spanish translation one, is also going to be eligible, I think. So yeah, I think I wish there was a culture in semi-prozine like there is in fanzine, where like when you where one person wins and then they recuse themselves the next year. So like what Lady Business and what Book Smugglers have done is where they win and then they recuse. Like I think something like that, especially for like the fan categories.
Well, like Our Opinions Are Our Own, which won the past 2 years, they recused themselves immediately this award season. So I was like, yeah,
I think that's how many trophies do you need?
Yeah.
I would accept a pat on the back, saying you did good, pig, you did good.
I don't know.
We'll see.
Well, we are pretty much at 2 hours, guys. So we want to start wrapping up.
Sure.
Want to go around and mention where people can find us again and what's next for everybody, what you're going to be doing next? We'll start with Diana.
Sure. You can find me on YouTube and Twitter at Bookish Die. I will probably be posting the Tome Topple vlog I've been working on at some point early next week, then followed by like a March wrap up. But yeah, that's what's in the works for me.
Cool. Bree?
Sure. I'm Bree. You can find me basically everywhere as Bree Reads Books. Sometimes with underscores, most times just that. And I have been working on and have not yet finished an outline for a video on why the Hugo Awards continues to seem to be a culturally chaotic mess. So
I want that.
everybody, yeah, you three should expect to be like, to hear like Bree being like, please look at this and see if this makes any freaking sense.
Yes. Yes, I am looking forward to that.
Yeah. Rhea?
I should have another episode of my TBR game, The Book Board, up
Yay.
at some point.
I'm really
And,
enjoying that.
And because I'm doing the 30 mangas in 30 days challenge, I am sincerely hoping that I don't land a 6 on the die. But now that I say it, I feel like that's going to happen because that's like me jinxing myself. So yeah, that's happening. And also hopefully my March wrap up will happen too earlier this time than February wrap up. Yeah.
Take all the time you need.
Yeah. I'm like, technically, I should not work on new videos until I've done at least 2 GitHub project releases for my portfolio so that I can actually get a job. But also, like, I need to live. I need to live.
Give your brain a break to do other things. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. And me, I'm Kalanati everywhere if you want to find me. And I, as usual, have no idea what I'm doing next because I'm just winging things around here.
Nothing wrong with that.
Probably the best way to live, to be honest.
Mostly I'm focused on like trying to actually do proper reviews of books. So I have some reviews to outline and get filmed. So that's pretty much it for me. So and with that, I think we're pretty much done. So thank you everybody for joining us for this month's live show. You guys were awesome in the chat. And we will be on Rhea's channel next month, I believe.
Yes.
Yes.
I think so.
Do
I
we
have
want
to,
to
like-
like a special get together, like reacting to the Hugo nomination?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
we should make plans for that day.
Yes.
Good.
Let's do that.
All right.
I'm super interested in that.
Because
Okay.
I either will want to celebrate or like potentially drag Worldcon voters.
And either one's a good option, to be fair.
Yes.
I've ordered wine just in case.
I will be,
I mean,
I will be
I
back
will.
in my apartment when Hugo nominations come out, and I will have my stash of tequila and kashaka.
Well, you
I will-
all have
I
to
will
have an
have a
extra
nice-
drink for me, so.
Okay.
I will
Oh,
have a
yeah.
nice gin and tonic,
Yep.
Okay.
most likely with only the tonic.
All right. With that, we are done. So goodbye, everybody. Until next month.
Bye.